What was completely ruined because too many people start doing it. A lot of beer money websites, surveys, user testing, etc. reduce rewards as their supply of users grow. It's a boom-bust cycle. Flower fields, wild or otherwise. They are beautiful and can make an amazing scene for a professional photography shoot for someone who is careful not to destroy the area in the process. But put that photo on Instagram and everyone wants the same picture and ends up trampling the fields, which then results in all photography, and even visitors, being banned. Same with many natural historic environments. There is a flower field almost directly behind my house, albeit a couple miles hike through the woods. There isn't a single road leading to it and nobody but the locals go there. It's lovely. Storm chasing. It was fun 20 years ago, provided you had enough sense not to get too close. Leave that crap to the pros. But today, so many amateurs do it that they get in each other's way and people ahead of the storms have trouble getting to safety. The NWS has even had to ask amateur storm chasers to knock it off because some of the professionals have hit traffic jams while trying to get out of the path of tornadoes. Yeah, I've heard it's gotten pretty bad. I love watching chasers when they're live streaming, but feel like a lot of them are contributing to the problem. For me personally, I let it be known that my little rural post office was a great place to get stamps, as no one ever checked there for stamps. I'm a stamp collector. Well, word spread and now I have to fight with about 5 other collectors in the area on issue days. This is so weirdly niche and I love it. I'm sorry your secret got out though. Streaming services. It used to be a single place where you could find any show you wanted easily, to disincentivize piracy, but now that every company and their mom has a streaming service, all with exclusive content, piracy is easier even with the ads, load times, and low quality, simply because I don't need to pay 12 different subscriptions to watch shows. Yep, the money I used to spend on Netflix now gets spent on a quality VPN. May feel dated, but CrossFit. I started doing it in 2007 when it was still relatively unknown. It was a pretty great community and the focus seemed to be on fitness for anyone, not just for those who wanted to be semi-competitive athletes. Fast forward a few years and CrossFit games had become widely known. The culture got way more bro-y. Workouts became more about heavy weights and gymnastics movements. Paleo became the only acceptable diet. I kept getting injured from workouts that were designed for elite athletes and coaches who pushed their students as though we were all trying to qualify for the games. Some of us just liked being in shape and didn't need to PR every word. Online communities. They're great when small and everyone in it has a voice. Get too many people and the loud and obnoxious minority start overwhelming things. Looking at you are Wall Street butts. Small music festival I used to attend. Beautiful and fun. Got together with my husband there. Then too many people started talking about how great it was. More people attending every year. It started to get too big and I think the landowner could sense it. He no longer holds it. It was sad to see it go, but easy to see it was losing its magic. Yeah, I loved a festival in Scotland called Electric Fields for the same reasons you said. Then it got really busy and now it's stopped being held, and I think it's because the small area of land just couldn't take it. Plus the people that started going weren't the same type of crowd and the atmosphere changed. Everything tourist. So many national parks now bumper to bumper traffic. So many places with cute shops and cafes now have police that make everyone now bust a gut. Keep walking. People trying to play frisbee on cram-packed beaches full of dog crap. Too crowded. In Austin, Barton Creek. Too many people on the trails, playing their stupid freaking music from their stupid freaking speakers, and not picking up after their dogs. When a thing becomes sufficiently popular, a show, a game, a sport, people who don't actually like that thing, but want to become a part of what's popular, are inevitably a part of its demise, because producers usually want to broaden the appeal of their product to increase profits, but they fail to realize they're changing their product for a group of people who aren't actually interested in it anyway. This then turns away the originally interested demographic. To be honest, this describes a lot of the gaming scene at the moment quite well. Camping. Almost all of the campsites I have been to in the past however many years have had a group of annoying, loud people playing stupid loud music into the night. I go camping to enjoy nature, not to listen to you. The harder to get to the better on this. Even a little harder. Drive right up with water and electric. High chance of rowdy neighbors. Drive right up primitive. Somewhat lower odds. Walk even 50 plus yards to site. Dramatically better. Hike an 1+ mile. Very very unlikely. A serene, unspoiled mountain lake was perfect for fishing, swimming, and just enjoying nature. There were just a few summer cabins along the lakeshore and the area was kept clean. The only sounds were fish rippling the water and birds in the trees, the air naturally scented with pine. Then, the lake was discovered and people started buying up every available bit of lakefront real estate to build oversized houses and docks for high-speed motorboats. Now, as I once lamented, the pure water of the lake has become polluted and the fish are mostly gone. Outboard boat engines dominate the sound and the pine trees have been chopped down in favor of development. Don't forget the water is now murky and brown. Those fricking boats churn up the sediment and do some real work on the ecology. YouTube was pretty fun in the early days, just people sharing fun stuff. Now it's all about taking 20 minutes to describe something that takes one and getting a zillion views $. Although it's not completely ruined. Totally enjoy watching robots, squirrels, etc. Not to mention the double ads, the rise in unskippable ads, the fact that unmonetized videos are having ads run on them. YouTube has gotten too greedy, and the sad fact is no one is able to challenge them. Bluetooth speakers while floating the river. Y'all, it's beautiful scenery and peaceful as frick. Can I just get drunk without listening to a dozen crappy speakers playing different crappy music all at once? Bluetooth speakers in public spaces in general. It is super annoying to be on the train, walking to my ferry, on the trail, etc. and have to listen to someone else's music. Concerts and shows where everyone is holding up their phones trying to record everything. Do these people not realize that they're completely ruining the experience for the people sitting behind them and who also paid good money to see the performance? And they are never, ever going to watch that crappy video anyway. Probably most nature. When I lived in the Bay Area I looked forward to spending my weekends in nature, away from people. That changed. Now everyone shows up everywhere and is really freaking loud and rude. Ugh. Glad I left. I guess this has been happening many places. I don't get the people that hike with Bluetooth speakers. Earbuds are lighter and the sound is better. Oh yeah, and you're also not selfishly ruining the experience for everyone around you. The housing market because of people investing in rental properties. Half the houses on my street are rentals. Doesn't even feel like I'm part of a community anymore. Wait till they all go to short-term rentals. Look to Barcelona if you want to see maybe the worst example of this. Camping. When I was a boy in the 1960s we could spontaneously decide to go tent camping at a state park on a weekend. We could even gather firewood. 50 years later and 125 added to the US population. Not anymore. Thrifting. Thrifting used to be a way to dress yourself and your home for much less. It used to be a way to find full wood furniture for cheap, good quality tailored clothes that fit to a T, and furbish your home when you're not loaded. You can still do all of those things today, but often, the prices are much higher than they used to after so many people discovered that they can buy a good quality, and sometimes branded, leather bags for a few dollars and sell them on eBay for hundreds. For many, thrifting isn't a cool lifestyle that they inhabit because they want to be environmentally friendly and hipster-like. For many it's a necessity. People searching for cheap thrifted goods and then reselling them for 10x the price they paid for it is very basic market economy, and I understand that. But the very same actions have made it even harder for those on the breadline to actually dress themselves and their home. Leather bags for a few dollars and sell them on eBay for hundreds. Our local thrift store started pricing items based on what they saw on eBay and even printed out a listing to prove its value. I miss the days when people were too embarrassed to be seen at these places. Writing and film criticism. I've seen too many people claim to know what they're doing completely fail to understand the fundamentals, ultimately harping on things that aren't mistakes, and praising things that are. I enjoy watching several different movie analysis YouTube channels. The better ones don't just sum up the movies. They find themes, analyze character development over time, discuss a director's impact on the movie, etc. That's what I'm looking for. Everything. Every freaking thing. If people enjoy it, someone will start a trend or a hashtag and it will become a thing on social media that you have to be seen to do, or want to do in order to be in. And then, if people are enjoying it, if it's popular, someone will find a way to monetize it and profit from it, which usually involves making it widely more accessible to open up their possible market. Twitch. Popularity in the past 3+ years has brought on so many changes to the site for the worse. I forget the precise number, but a couple years ago, if you had 30 viewers, you were in the top 50% of streams. Today that number is something like 5. The market is basically oversaturated. When everyone's on stage, no one's in the crowd. Driving early to work. Now because everyone does it, it's the same as the rush hour. Or driving in general, it's difficult to get anywhere with the traffic now. Toronto. Used to be a very accessible major city. Now it's so packed with people it's impossible to get around. Giant condo buildings everywhere. Downtown Toronto used to be so enjoyable to just aimlessly wander around through. Quite chill for a city of its size. Now it's just a hassle getting anywhere. I know this can be said about many other cities, but Toronto in particular seems to have changed very drastically in this way. Nostalgia. This is an incredibly vague answer, but the whole wave of 80s 90s nostalgia on TV and movies has been oversaturated. Nothing new is standing out. I'm wondering what people 30 years from now will look back at this time and reminisce about. To be truthful, I don't remember anything about this decade except how crappy it was until I'll remember some random meme. May the 4th. I hate that every single company tries to tie in their macaroni and cheese or auto dealership to this stupid Star Wars Day, April Fool's Day. Again, you spend the whole day wading through unimaginative, tired cliches from boring companies and sports writers who can't be bothered to put more than a second's thought into their hilarious joke. Just stop. As someone with the name Luke, I also hate May the 4th. So very much. I debated posting this on a throwaway account, but here goes. BDSM. 50 Shades of Grey made people that had done zero research think they wanted to be in the lifestyle, but they failed to realize what the lifestyle actually is. There are things within that lifestyle that can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And reading a friggin' badly written series of books is not research, nor does it make you an expert. Honestly, anything. Reddit is anal about gatekeeping, but I believe that a healthy dose of that can exist, just enough to maintain a healthy group of people who share the same interests without diluting it. I've seen far too many communities, especially small ones, get destabilized by people who are kinda into what the group stands for but want to do their own thing more than keep the spirit of the group alive. How is it progressive to let anyone enjoy everything without any kind of boundaries or standards if accommodating new people means passionate and dedicated long-term members end up feeling disillusioned? Video games. Particularly that a lot of young kids now see it as a way to become rich. You pretty much can't play online games just for fun. Holy crap, this one's relatable. I just want to have a nice time playing CSGO, yet my friend, who is considerably better than the other 4 men in the queue, takes everything seriously. He always states how the game shouldn't be fun as if it's his job or SMTH. He has been offered invitations to join teams yet rejects them all cause they're not good enough. It just seems like a toxic mindset emo. I'm an butthole, I know, but I was irritated when quarantine had tons of people hiking and fishing and stuff. All my favorite parks and spots were full of people and their children, trashing the place and making it impossible to social distance or enjoy my normal park time. Social media used to be a place where you could connect with friends and see what they're up to. You still can if you follow your friends and family only. Nowadays it's just flex culture and hustle P on there. And the sports pages on Instagram keep hyping up LeBron James and Tom Brady all the time. It irritates me, so I purposely alter my algorithm so I don't have to see that crap. Fidget spinners. Originally, they were made for people with ADHD or something to help keep them from getting distracted by giving their subconscious mind something to do. But somehow, it becomes a huge freaking meme and almost every man, woman, and child had at least 77 fidget spinners. Before long, like everything that becomes popular on the internet, It was popularized to the point where suddenly, the cool thing to do was to hate it and everyone who uses one. So the people who had fidget spinners because they needed them could no longer use them without everyone else looking at them like brain dead 7-year-olds. I work in a school. This goes for most fidget toys or concentration aids. The current trend is those plastic poppers that are kinda like bubble wrap. You get the 2 kids who needed using them. The next week half the class has them and sit there making noise and not focusing on the lesson. My high school was built to house 600 people maximum. We now have 800 kids. We also don't have enough school hours because of this. I only had 12-hour school weeks from the new year onwards. The bike racks are also completely packed to the brim. Van life. I dreamed of living in a van in 2010 but could never scrape together the money. I find a parking spot I can buy for super cheap in a crazy hot spot in the city. Now everybody and their cousin are buying up vans to live in. Now trying to chase the teardrop trailer dream. Build something lightweight enough for a super small car to haul but can leave it behind at campgrounds while we explore and it won't blow away. Canning became next level difficult after the mason jar decorating fad hit. People buying up jars for receptions and events. My still not returning jars because they are using them for drinking cups. Thanks. Now I need to buy more jars if I'm going to continue gifting my homemade jam goodness. Now, I purposely gift the 4-ounce jars because I don't use them for my personal projects so it isn't as annoying if they don't come back. The pandemic gardeners led to spike in first-time canners and a shortage of jars and lids, but I'm not going to fault them because they are using the jars as intended. The manufacturer's supply chain wasn't prepared for that. I have to admit that if someone gifted me a jar of jam I wouldn't think they'd want the jar back from the gift. Taking pictures of particularly beautiful places. Watching the absolutely surreal sunrise through Mesa Arch. There was over 100 people there. All but 3 of us watched the entire thing through their camera or phone. A lot of the best scenic spots are now chock full of people just filtering in and out, taking pictures for social media and leaving. Grand Canyon, Zion, Yellowstone, Tetons, etc. Buying trading card hobby boxes. They sell out the second they're released. People buy them by the case on credit cards for the sole reason of flipping the contents and making a profit. Sometimes people make money from it and brag about it, which makes more people buy by the case. Prices go up on single cards because the demand is there, and every time a supplier restocks, the boxes go up in price. It started off with a few people doing it. Now because of investors putting out YouTube videos and podcasts about how to flip, everybody is doing it. But that one person who has saved up enough cash for one hobby box can't get one because the price has gone up or because there's none left. The same goes for sports cards. People who want to collect a specific player can't get single short print cards because other people are buying them all for the sole reason of selling them all for profit. An example, a 20 card serial numbered run of one card and somebody is in our hockey cards bragging that they own 12 of them. It's even worse with Star Wars cards. It's nearly impossible to get single boxes now. Investors are ruining the hobby for collectors. American Ninja Warrior. That contest used to be way better when it was only on the TV channel G4. There was something boutique about it, but not in a nauseating hipster way. The obstacle course became more about flashy showmanship than about athleticism. I feel like they are just coming up with weird ways to screw with people. Back before it was popular, ANW and the whole parkour scene was a much more pure thing. There was a food place near my old middle school that used to give free leftovers to any kids that needed it after school. Then one kid decided to bring his friend along. Then that friend told one of his friends, and you can guess what happened from there. This may get me burned at the stake, but here goes. Nerd culture. The very term I find distasteful, but at the same time it's apt. Comics, gaming, tabletop. These were all fringe communities with companies that catered to the community. As nerd culture grew in popularity, those companies, in some cases, abandoned their true fan base for the mass market. Things that were for a specific subset of people became watered down for a larger appeal. The problem being that those fringe customers were often lifelong loyal to their genre. The mass market customers flirt with a trend for a few years, then disappear. That causes the companies to then chase the next wave of mass market over and over, never really growing the brand like they used to. Instead, they're constantly rebooting or restarting, recycling old ideas into something new for the new client base. I sort of think it's hilarious that the jocks stole nerd culture from the nerds. Traveling. Maybe I am just giving anecdotal evidence, but people who traveled before did it for the love of travel and new places and experiences. The majority now seem to travel for pictures and because it's a cool thing to do and brag about. It's a bit of a jackass thing to say, but I'm always a little annoyed when one of my favorite movies or TV shows get really popular. When I watch a smart movie or TV show, I like it best when it has a small loyal community of people who equally like it and love talking about it because they understand what it's about and feel like it's something that resonates or interests them. But when it's popular, 99% of the buzz goes from stuff like, ending explained, why is X so weird, top 10 reasons the show is actually terrible, WTF did I just watch, came here cause of X referencing it, not to forget all the unnecessary remakes and spin-offs that are commissioned. Cedar Point. Probably kinda stupid and obscure, but man, that place kicked butt in its prime. Now you're spending maybe 11 of the 12 hours you're there just standing in line because they let so many people in the gates. It's not even worth the money anymore. When bands get so popular that they outgrow the smaller and better venues. Don't get me wrong. On one side, it's amazing to see a band evolve and grow their fan base and catalog to a point where they are wildly successful. That's the whole point, right? On the flip side, it sucks from a fan perspective where literally the only venue they can play at is a massive arena of 10,000 plus seats. Or worse, a festival of 15,000 or much more. The small intimate venues of a couple hundred people. Or even the mid-size and particularly the orchestra theater that are virtually perfect for sound are so nice. I get it. But when you're so far back that you can't see a single thing, or the bad venues where the sound is bouncing off concrete walls and is horribly awful, those ones are a bummer. Purchasing microtransactions and loot boxes in video games. It seems more and more games are starting to be filled with them. EA and Activision are to blame for that. They figured out that they could make $1 billion a year off gambling addicted idiots and started designing their games around those people. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.